Welcome to the Butterfly Impact interview series with BizWell Studio. Today I am super happy to have Brandi and Craig from Eversio Wellness. They're both co-founders of Eversio, which is a company that has been developing amazing mushroom related products. And we are going to be talking about what it is to go on the journey in a space in the health and wellness field. As a new business entrepreneur, what it is like and the obstacles along the way, and what motivated Brandi and Craig to start that journey. So without further ado, I'm introducing Brandi to our team of listeners of BizWell Studio. Brandi, please tell us, please first, do you remember a aha moment or we like to call it a butterfly impact moment that took you on that journey? It's, when you start a business, it's a big deal. It's like we are all in, right? And it's a journey that has to have a foundation behind it. So tell us about that a little bit.
100%. It has been a journey, and one that I will be honest, I had no idea what would come on this journey. I don't come from a business background, so I was an elementary school teacher for 20 years before founding Eversio. And even during that first year of Eversio's life as a business, I was still in education. But yes, the butterfly effect, the butterfly impact is something I'm familiar with, and I have thought many times back to that. Where did this all come from? How did we get here? How are we working with mushrooms? And for me, I think it's really connected to my own personal health and the health of my husband, Craig, the co-founder of the company. And for me, I had psoriatic arthritis diagnosed in my early 20s. So chronic inflammation and chronic pain was something I was very familiar with and just learned to live with, and took a pharmaceutical medication that helped to relieve the surface symptoms of my arthritis. And I was happy to live that way through my 20s, through my 30s. But when I turned 40, I had a lot of side effects from that pharmaceutical, one of them being a seizure. And I think that was the moment for me. That moment for me asked me to question everything. Why did this happen? Why am I being given a pharmaceutical without really being told what it's doing for me and what the long-term plan is? Why did that happen to me? And then as deep as, what is my purpose here? Why am I here? What am I going to do with the rest of my life? Because life could be that short. And what will my impact be here? So I think the questioning of meaning of everything happened in that moment for me, and was instrumental when Craig came to me and said, I want to do this. I didn't question it. I knew that something had to change. In education, I didn't feel like I was making a big enough impact. I saw that I was working within a system that was broken. I saw that the children I was working with were coming from homes that were in crisis, with parents who were dealing with mental health issues, with parents who were dealing with chronic physical pain issues, and that was leaking down to the children, and they were not coming ready to learn because of that. So starting a company that is a mushroom company felt weird and strange. However, we knew as we started the research that we needed change. We needed to look at things differently for my own personal health, for mental health, for the world. We knew that the answer really was a shift in consciousness for everyone. And I don't know today that there's another way to do that other than looking at the compounds that are available in many psychedelic things. And for us, mushrooms was something that we were using daily, functional mushrooms for nutritional supplements to help me deal with inflammation, to deal with what was happening with my brain. And when we went a step further to look at the compounds in a psychedelic mushroom, we said, this is it. This can be the change. And our company, the word Eversio means change.
Yes, I just learned something today with that. I didn't know it meant change, even though it's a Latin word, and I took Latin, but it's a long time ago. I would like to go back to that seizure moment. It was a wake-up call. Could you share with us, how scary was it?
Yes.
Can you share with us a little bit about that?
Well, and in the moment, I didn't know what had happened. So in the moment when it happened, I knew that I had this awareness that I didn't know how I had become in the place that I was. So a panic in the what just happened to me, and I don't like being out of control of my body. And I had had other side effects along the way. I had skin cancer 3 times while on that medication. I knew my body was not happy. I knew that I was not in homeostasis and balance, and I had had some headaches. I had had some blurred vision prior to that event, but this event was bigger. And of course, taken to hospital, an MRI on the brain. And the fear around that was that as a teacher, I loved the brain. And I liked feeling like I was intelligent and I was able to learn things. And the thought that I might not be able to learn new things, which is my passion, terrified me. So the MRI showed something they called chronic ischemic white matter disease. And when the neurologist presented me with that and said, this is something we'd expect to see in someone who's 80 years old plus, and I was not yet, I was 40 years old, it was fear. And I don't want to live my life in fear. I don't think any of us need to live in fear. I think we need to see everything through love. And if I wanted to do that, I knew that I needed to remove what was causing that fear. And it was the drug I was taking. So how was I going to stop taking that and then repair? So I thought, I can't change what happened, but I can change how I go forward and I can prevent it from happening again.
That is fascinating, because you went from being a teacher to having this event to then starting a business. I mean, it's unusual. Teachers traditionally don't become business owners. I mean, of course some do, but like, you know what I mean? This is quite a dramatic change. And I'm curious to know, why mushrooms? Did you have a mentor? Did you read an article one day? Do you know what I mean? Like, why mushrooms?
Craig, my husband, he at the time was project manager, so dealing in the medical cannabis space with a lot of construction around facilities that could produce medical cannabis, because that was new, and fell into that by just, he was doing other types of construction, and in that space somebody needed to build these facilities when that was new. And dealing with those spaces meant dealing with Health Canada. So was very active in developing the Cannabis Act when that was something new in Canada. And there was an awareness around this space. And I was somebody who had not yet ever consumed a cannabis, still to this day have not consumed a cannabis product, not a believer in it. As an elementary school teacher, spent much of my day telling kids, don't do drugs, all drugs are bad. And really had that as I had decided that was what I believed.
It's a belief system.
Belief system. That was my blueprint. That was what I was taught myself and taught to say to others. And as Craig did his research into that space, really had his eyes open to, maybe there's something else there. When COVID was just in the new beginnings, construction was slow, and he knew that, the cannabis space is not what everyone thought it would be. It didn't work out like it should have worked out for people. However, in that space, he had been reading about the psychedelic renaissance that was hitting and how mushrooms could go that same way, that someone will have to supply if that research is going to continue. And he knows how to do that. I was reading about the brain and how I could heal my brain, and I was reading about lion's mane mushroom. And I was consuming lion's mane mushroom. So I was already interested in functional mushrooms. I had also read about cordyceps mushrooms, which he was doing Ironman triathlons at the time and using cordyceps mushrooms for energy and endurance. So we were already interested in mushrooms when he said the psychedelic mushrooms is something that I think people are going to need. We're going to need to put that into research and development. I know how to build those spaces, because I've dealt with Health Canada and I understand what the regulatory piece will look like. We know that the world will need this, and we can be the people that will do it right. We can do it from a place of conscious business where what we do will be good for the planet and it will be good for the people, and we can do it alongside maybe producing a better product of the other functional mushrooms that I was already consuming. And he literally pulled 4 of us out into an open space in our workspace at that time and said, we're going to do something with mushrooms. And I was in a space where I said, okay, because what we're doing isn't working. So let's change our path and let's do something that is going to leave a legacy, something that is going to be something that will affect the lives of our own children and perhaps everyone else along the way. So it came to us really because of him. He was the inspiration, he was the beginning. He doesn't hold back. He is very, when he's motivated by something, he goes.
He's all in.
He's all in, and I'm grateful for that.
I like the saying, change is the only constant in life. We learned that along the way. People, it's comfortable to stay, keep doing the same things again and again. It's comfortable because it is part of, we know it's comfortable territory.
Yes.
Change is hard. And you probably, was it scary when you started Eversio? You probably had some people telling you should not do it, or can you share with us?
Absolutely. I mean, mushrooms are gross. Mushrooms are weird. Mushrooms will surely kill you. These were the things that we heard all of the time. And yes, having to explain yourself is difficult, especially coming from education where there hasn't been enough change, and change is so badly needed. That is a group of people, my close friends are teachers, and honestly, we don't talk about my business often. They accept who we are. Coming into the health and wellness space, you meet a whole other crew of people, and they get it. They get it. People who inspire me are the people who have been using mushrooms, functional mushrooms, and psychedelic mushrooms in their medical practice for a long, long time. Meeting people in traditional Chinese medicine who have been using mushrooms for hundreds of years. Those are the people that really made me understand I didn't have to question what I was reading, question what I was believing, and providing the research and providing the places to learn more from what's come before us. It's not new. Can it be done better? I feel like we're doing it better, and that's exciting because what's happened for me, the change I've had, not having to take a pharmaceutical for over 2 years now and being the healthiest I've been in my life, is something I want for everyone. That makes it easy to talk about.
And that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, you could have, when you had that seizure, you could have decided to become a user of mushrooms for your own personal health benefits without necessarily starting a company around it. So you have a bigger vision, a bigger purpose behind the business.
Yes.
How important is that?
It's everything to us. It's being an entrepreneur is hard. It requires change every day. We're always pivoting. We're always questioning if we're doing it right, if we're surrounded by the right people, if we're attracting the right people to do this with us. We can't do it alone. This is bigger than us. We realized early on all we can do is hire people who are smarter than us and ask them to join us on the journey. Our vision is to change lives through fungi. And that's hard. That's not a thing that we're going to wake up tomorrow and do. We're so lucky to work with. We have a mycologist that teaches us new, incredible things every day, and that inspires us, right? Self-education is available today. We can go online and teach ourselves so much. We can ask the people around us to share what they know. It doesn't have to be in a classroom or a university setting like I once believed. So it's hard. It is hard every day, but doing it together. When one of us is having a low day and thinking, I don't know if we can do this, the other one is there to say, no, we're going to do this. It means everything, and the reverse. So doing it together has made us able to continue, and surrounding ourselves with big brains and big hearts and people that believe in the vision. It just keeps us going one day at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is so true. I mean, to be surrounded by people who support you, and you know, at the same time, as a business owner, I find running a business, being an entrepreneur, is having to make a succession of choices. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes it can be a lonely place, even if you're a couple. It's really difficult. You never know if it's the right thing you're doing or not. Yes. What guides you along when you have to make these choices? Should we open a bigger place? Mm-hmm. Should we... You know, like it goes on and on, the choices that we are faced with every day as a business owner.
Intuition guides us. We're lucky to be, both my husband and I, people who took up meditation a couple of years ago. At the beginning of realizing that, to us, the only way to change the trouble the world is in is to somehow shift consciousness. Meditation is one way that we can do that daily. Of course, we can't consume a psychedelic daily. that's not something realistic or available to us. We do believe that mushrooms, and if everybody could have a psychedelic journey that was set with intention and in the proper place with the proper integration afterward, we think that could change the world. We're probably pretty far out from something like that, but daily meditation is something that we have available to us for free anytime we need it, and we go to that asking our intuition to guide these decisions every day. So I'm in the morning, I do a daily meditation, I check in, whatever's on my mind at that time tends to come up. You try to listen and you try to incorporate what you can. Craig is someone who meditates midday with staff around, setting that example of he can be having the worst day, but the music goes on in his space and the door gets shut and he goes into his meditation and always comes out on the other side with that knowing that's always there for you. But I think if you're not tuning into it, we can make decisions that are based on fear. We can make decisions that are based on money. We can make decisions that are based on what someone else thinks. But you don't usually go wrong when you go with your own knowing.
I like that a lot. And don't you think that having a practice, like a practice of meditation every day, is helping you develop a more acute sense of observation, awareness, and maybe allows you to be better attuned to these butterfly moments that happen to us, you know, sometimes fairly regularly, and often we don't pay attention to them. Do you find that is the case?
Absolutely. I'm a big believer in loving awareness of all things, and that awareness is heightened, I think, when you are in a regular practice. So I call it validation. So I will ask if this is the right thing. I need to know, and I have my little synergistic events, things that happen. I'm always looking for synchronicities in life.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the way of the source or universe, whatever you want to call it, checking back in to say, yes, you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing. And I will tell you, when you start looking for synchronicities, they're everywhere. And I am very in that place of awareness all of the time, trying to stay in the present moment, and whatever that presents me, whoever it presents me, meeting you, wherever it presents, asking, what do I have to learn from this person? What do I have to learn from this situation? And truly believing there is no bad. There's no bad situation. I was meant to have this experience. What can I learn from it? And carrying on from there. But having that eye open all the time to what can I notice about this? And it's silly things. It can be the set of numbers on the license plate in front of me, or a certain animal that is on a decal somewhere, or the person's name, or where they're from, connected to what I was just speaking about. Always checking into that awareness of, am I on the right path? And when I'm not noticing a lot of synchronicities, that can kind of be a check to, I might be on the path that's not meant for me, and trying to guide back to where I'm meant to be.
Yeah, I mean, I love it because it's not easy to do that. But I think too many people are disconnected from some kind of source of what it is to be a human being, having a purpose in life, especially if you're a business owner.
Absolutely.
What advice would you like to give? I mean, you've been in that journey for a couple of years? Couple of years. So what advice would you, and now you have a team around you, you have a lab, it's growing. So what advice would you like to give to other business entrepreneurs who are about to start their journey like you did 2 years ago?
Take mushrooms.
Of course.
I'm being silly about it, but I will tell you, you have to take care of your own wellness before you can try to improve that of others. And in the wellness space, I think we're all trying to create something that we can offer to the world to make people better. And for us, that's mushrooms. And there are lots of ways. It's not the only thing out there, but I think taking care of yourself. And for me, I was using functional mushrooms for myself. And I think people are suffering from mental health everywhere. We're in crisis as a humanity. People are suffering from chronic pain, as you know, everywhere. Trying to go through life and start a business when you aren't taking care of those things on your own is not likely going to end well.
Well, that's the purpose behind BizWell. That's why we call it BizWell, business and wellness. It's a merging of the two.
Yes, so being mindful of making sure you're in a good space before you are taking care of your baby, your business. It's another child. We have 2 children, and we wake up thinking about their wellness, and then after them comes the wellness of the business. And we have to be in that mindset, making sure that we get up and we take our lion's mane and our turkey tail and our cordyceps each day, so we have the mental agility to make those decisions. We have the energy and stamina to get through the day. We have the immune defense, so I haven't been sick in over 2 years. That makes me a good business person. I think somebody that can come with a clear mind and an open heart and see things through love and make those decisions with people that want to be on the same page.
I have 100%, behind that vision. I have a whole array of mushrooms I alternate with, and I have been taking them as supplements for the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, alternating between chaga and ashwagandha and cordyceps and reishi and lion's mane and turkey tail. Yes. You saw the product, the turkey tail mushroom there. What is your favorite mushroom?
Oh, it's lion's mane. I know I've mentioned it. It was the first one for me. I have some friends who are naturopathic doctors, and when one of them said to me, in school to become a naturopathic doctor, you learn about the doctrine of signatures, which tells us that Mother Nature creates things in nature that look like what we are supposed to use them for, or how they can help us. And the lion's mane mushroom looks like a brain on nature growing on the side of a tree, and of course it's so good for our brains.
It spoke to you.
It spoke to me when I saw it, when I read that, when I knew this is what's most important to me. If my body fails me, with arthritis, I had achy joints, couldn't necessarily play the sports I wanted to play. Even as a teacher, my right hand that I was used to using was swollen and inflamed. I could live with that, but I think I want my brain to be the thing that lasts the longest. And I knew lion's mane would be something I'll take for the rest of my life. When I first took it, there was a knowing with that. I want my parents to take it every day. I know I'll be taking care of them one day. I think it's something everyone can benefit from. We know so much about it now, but the research is coming along with it in Alzheimer's, dementia, all kinds of neurodegenerative disease. It's where we are. When we can add research with psilocybin and lion's mane together, I think we're going to see even more, and that is so exciting for me.